Hello and welcome back to our online English class. Today we are going to do lessons C and D in Unit 10, but we are going to start with a review of Lesson B. So let's take a look at this worksheet, and I'm going to give you some time to complete exercise A. Complete the sentences, then match. Okay, so let's look at number 1 first. If I go shopping tomorrow, letter E, I'll spend too much money. So if you remember, this is a future real conditional, and the if clause includes a present tense clause, and the main clause is in the future tense. Okay, so if I go shopping tomorrow, if this condition is true, then I'll spend too much money. This is a likely result. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and complete numbers 2 through 6. Let me zoom in a little more so you can see it more easily. Okay, so go ahead and complete this activity. Okay, so let's look at number 2. If Sue had more free time, and the answer is she would listen to music more often. And this is a present unreal conditional, okay, which actually has the same form as a future unreal conditional. So in this case, if Sue had more free time, she would listen to music more often. It's not necessarily something she will do in the future. She would do in the future, but something that she would do in general. So it's better to say that this is a present unreal conditional. Okay, and then number 3, they won't eat dinner outside if the weather is cold. Okay, so this is future real conditional. Okay. So will, as you know, won't is will not, and this is the main clause. They won't eat dinner outside if the weather is cold. This is the if clause. Okay, and then number 4, we would invite all our friends over if our house were bigger. Okay, so this is either present unreal or future unreal conditional because it may be talking about a specific event in the future, maybe for a holiday dinner, but it could also be present unreal, like in general we would invite all our friends over if our house were bigger, but it isn't, so we can't, or so we won't. So it could be either. As I mentioned, both present unreal and future unreal conditionals have the same form. Okay, and then number 5, if you didn't stay up so late, you wouldn't feel so tired. Okay, so this one is present unreal. Okay, so in general, you wouldn't feel so tired if you didn't stay up so late. Okay, and then number 6, I'll wear my new shirt, D, if I go to the party. Okay, so this is future real conditional. Okay, so it's a possibility that I might go to the party. So if that's the case, I'll wear my new shirt. Okay, all right, now let's look at exercise B. Complete the sentences. Use the future real or present unreal conditional forms. As I mentioned, it's the same as a future unreal conditional form, okay, of the verbs. So, since you can't see the whole thing, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, all right. So let's look at number 1 together first. Okay, Denise is spending New Year's Eve in Florida. Okay, so this is something that we know for sure. Okay, if the weather is warm, she will go to the beach. Okay, so here's the conditional. If the weather is warm, she will go in the future to the beach. Okay, but if she, now we can see home here, but we know she's not at home. She's in Florida. So this is unreal. Okay, so we can use the past tense in the if clause. If she stayed home, she would make dinner with friends. But since she is spending New Year's Eve in Florida, she can't do this. Okay, so this is the present unreal conditional. So go ahead and complete numbers 2 through 4, but I want to make a quick note on number 3. This should be not be, actually, not be. Just like here, not be, not live. So you need to use the negative form. Okay, so you can go ahead and pause the video and continue when you are finished. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Jian and Ling are spending New Year's Eve in Sydney, Australia. If they watch the fireworks, they will stay out. They will stay out until the next morning. If they were at home in Seattle, they would go to bed at midnight. Okay, so the first sentence, or not the first sentence, but the second sentence, if they watch the fireworks, this is a present real conditional. Actually, I'm sorry, future real conditional. And the next sentence, if they were at home in Seattle, this one is present unreal. As we know, they aren't at home. They are in Sydney, Australia. So if they were at home, they would go to bed at midnight. Okay, number 3. We are spending New Year's Eve at our parents' house. If our friends come over, we will go to a club later in the evening. If we weren't at our parents' house, we would invite all our friends over for a party, but they can't because they are at their parents' house. So instead, if the friends do come over, they will go to a club later. Okay, and then number 4. I am spending New Year's Eve in Boston. If the weather isn't too cold, I will walk to a bar to listen to live music. Okay, so this is a future real conditional. Okay? If I weren't, oh, I'm sorry, it's not weren't. If I didn't live, because live is an action verb. So if I didn't live in the center of Boston, I would have to drive to the bar. Okay, but this person doesn't have to drive to the bar because it seems that he or she lives in Boston. But if he or she didn't live in the center of Boston, I would have to drive, or he or she would have to drive to the bar in general. Okay, so this one is a present unreal conditional. Now, I want to practice making questions. So if you look at number 1 again, Denise is spending New Year's Eve in Florida. If the weather is warm, she will go to the beach. So I want you to make a question with the future real conditional. And I can do the first one with you. So if the weather is warm, what will she do? Okay, so you can also say, what will she do if the weather is warm? Which is probably what you're more familiar with, since it begins with a question word. What will she do if the weather is warm? But of course you can also say, if the weather is warm, what will she do? So the question should include the if clause. Okay. Now let's look at the present unreal conditional. If she stayed home, she would make dinner with friends. Okay, so we can ask, what would she do if she stayed home? Okay, or if she stayed home, what would she do? Okay, so the form is the same. You just put the if clause in the question, but make it past tense instead of present tense. Then what would she do? You have to include the modal would. Okay? So go ahead and make sentences, or I'm sorry, questions for numbers 2 through 4. And the same thing, you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's look at number 2. If they watch the fireworks, they will stay out until the next morning. So we can say, if they watch the fireworks, what will they do? Or what will they do if they watch the fireworks? And then the unreal conditional, what would they do if they were at home in Seattle? Or if they were at home in Seattle, what would they do? Number 3, what will you, and this is you plural, what will you do if your friends come over? Okay, and then what would you do if you weren't at your parents' house? If you weren't at your parents' house, what would you do? And then number 4, what will you do if the weather isn't too cold? Okay, and what would you do if you didn't live in the center of Boston? Or you could also say, what would you have to do if you didn't live in the center of Boston? Okay. So now we're going to take a look at some similar questions. As you can see here, all the questions begin with the if clause. So if you didn't have class tomorrow, what would you do? If the weather is nice this weekend, where will you go? So you can see an unreal conditional and a real conditional. Now in this case, of course, it's unreal because it is assuming we are attending class. But of course, we are at home and you are learning on your own time. But you know what I mean. So this is an unreal conditional based on us learning in class. And then this is a possible reality. So this one is future real conditional. But just take some time to look over these questions. You can read each one, but you don't have to answer each one. And of course, if you're with your kids or with someone else that you want to practice with, then feel free to do that as well. But just pick a few and answer them. Okay, so I'll give you some time. You can, of course, pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so of course we can't go over these questions because there are too many possible answers, but just make sure that you used the correct tenses, and would if you used the unreal conditional, like I would, and then you have to use will if you're talking about a real possibility. Yeah, just make sure you practice these and included the correct tenses. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and look at our next lesson, Lesson C, on page 126 in your student's book. So go ahead and open your student's book to this page, and we are going to focus on hope and wish, which we use for possible and impossible situations. Okay, so let's look here briefly. We use hope to talk about something you want that is possible in the present or future. Use wish to talk about situations that are not possible in the present or future. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play the grammar lesson, and when you're finished, you can go on to part 2 of this lesson, part 2.
Hope and Wish. Unit 10, Lesson C. Possible and Impossible. Watch and listen. Use hope to talk about something you want that is possible in the present or future. Use wish to talk about situations that are not possible in the present or future. Possible situation.
Samira hopes her cousin will come to the wedding. Samira hopes her cousin comes to the wedding.
Situation that is not possible.
Samira wishes her cousin would come to the wedding.
Possible situation.
Samira hopes she'll have more money.
Situation that is not possible.
Samira wishes she had more money.
Possible situation.
Nick and Mia hope they can go to the party.
Situation that is not possible.
Nick and Mia wish they could go to the party.
Possible situation.
I hope you return my call.
Situation that is not possible.
I wish you would return my call.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture and read the first sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the first sentence.
Samira hopes her cousin comes to the wedding.
The first sentence is a possible situation. Read the second sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the second sentence.
Samira wishes her cousin would come to the wedding.
The second sentence is a situation that is not possible. Read the third sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the third sentence.
Samira hopes her cousin will come to the wedding.
The third sentence is a possible situation. Look at the picture and read the first sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the first sentence.
Samira wishes she had more money.
The first sentence is a situation that is not possible. Read the second sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the second sentence.
Samira hopes she'll have more money.
The second sentence is a possible situation. Look at the picture and read the first sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the first sentence.
Nick and Mia hope they can go to the party.
The first sentence is a possible situation. Read the second sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the second sentence.
Nick and Mia wish they could go to the party.
The second sentence is a situation that is not possible. Look at the picture and read the first sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the first sentence.
I wish you would return my call.
The first sentence is a situation that is not possible. Read the second sentence. Is it a possible situation or a situation that is not possible? Listen to the second sentence.
I hope you return my call.
The second sentence is a possible situation. Let's review. Possible situation. Situation that is not possible.
Samira hopes her cousin will come to the wedding.
Samira wishes her cousin would come to the wedding.
Samira hopes her cousin comes to the wedding.
Samira wishes she had more money.
Nick and Mia hope they can go to the party.
Nick and Mia wish they could go to the party.